All right, so welcome to my TED Talk. Today we're going to be talking about death. It's quite a touchy subject, right? No one really wants to talk about it. But it's funny because it's going to happen to everybody at one point. It's inevitable. And we as humans need to start becoming more comfortable with it, realizing that there is no escape and that we need to use it. We need to understand death in order to live a more fulfilling life. You see, there's a saying, it says that we have two lives. And the second one begins once we realize we only have one. Death is what makes life worth it. Because if I were to tell you you have 1,000 years to live, you would just not care to move. You would not care to take action, to not make the most out of it, because you would just feel like you have all the time in the world. And then when I tell you you have only 10 days, 100 days left to live, you would make the most out of it. And that's what we need to realize. We need to realize that time doesn't have a price, that it's finite. So if we don't make the most out of it now, we're going to regret it, because we don't know when we're going to die. Everybody's going to say, oh yeah, you'll make it to 80, 70, I don't know what the numbers are. You'll be able to watch your grandchildren get married, whatnot. But let me tell you, that's not going to happen, because I know people that died. I know people that died less than a week since the day they were born. They didn't make it to their high school graduation or their college graduation. I know some people that didn't get the job they wanted to because they died before. I know people that didn't get to fulfill their dreams because they died. They died before they were able to, and it sucks, but that's the way life goes. If you don't understand the way life works, you're going to do things wrong. You're going to be on the wrong path. And so what do I mean by that? That death is not known. Why do we need to live every day like it's our last? Well, if we live like every day is our last, we make the most out of the time that we have, because it's not guaranteed. So let's say this week I do everything correct. I'm nice to people. I go out and explore. I go chase my dreams. I do what I want to do, not what other people want me to do, what I want to do. And then if I die unexpectedly, car crash, it happens, or I get a disease, it happens, then I'll be okay with it. I mean, yeah, it sucks. I didn't get to live longer years, but what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be mad that you didn't? You just have to be grateful for what you got. And that's important, because if I go and if I don't make the time, if I don't make the most out of it right now, and then I die in, again, a week, then I'll be like, damn, I wasted a whole week not being useful, not being part of, not doing good to the rest of the world. You always have to make sure that whatever you do has a positive impact for everybody. If you chase your dreams, make sure it benefits everybody. If you go out and help, if you go out to work, make sure everybody at work benefits because you're there. You want to be a good person to everybody, even to your enemies. And yeah, that's a lesson, realizing that your life is finite and that you need to make the most out of the day. Who knows? Maybe today's your last day. Maybe today's my last day. So I need to make the most out of it right now. Not, next week I'll become a better person. I'll start being positive. You got to change your bad habits. Change them now. Do good. And I got a story to tell, you know. It's not oh feel bad story. It's just what happened. Because before this, I knew that death was up and coming. You know, at one point. Doesn't matter when. We don't know when, but at one point it will come. And I always try to make the most out of it. And then one time, you know, I realized that I had something inside of me, you know, a disease, and I had to get rid of it. And I grew an ego inside of me, like some anger, and I didn't realize it. My whole personality changed. It wasn't that I was depressed. It was just that I was pissed off all the time. You know, walking to doctors' offices, having all these appointments all the time. It pissed me off. I was completely changed, and I didn't realize it. Everybody that came close to me, I was a negative force. I didn't help other people. I made their lives worse. My parents, super supportive. I thank them infinitely for the time that they had to endure my quite bad side. And I remember I would just be pissed off at everything they would say. I had no purpose. Everywhere I would go, I would just be pissed off. I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to do things. And, you know, the doctors would, you know, be nice to me, and I would just be like, you know, I was a stubborn little kid. And I was 22. I mean, I'm 22 right now, so it happened last year. Almost a year ago. No, around the year. And then I remember I was talking to the surgeon, the guy that would do the surgery. And I asked him, I was like, hey, what's, you know, like, I've been thinking about it because every surgery has its risks. And it was quite a big surgery. And I asked him, hey, like, what are the chances I die? And he said, you know, it's not nothing, like it's not no big surgery where death is quite possible, but he threw me a number. He said 1 in 100, and I was like, damn. I started counting, you know, like there is 100 days, or, you know, any number, 100 times you do something. I started counting. I said, look, if I do something 100 times and one time I fail, or that would equal to that. If you do that surgery 100 times, one person would die. You know, it's only 1%, but at 22, you know, that 1% is like right around you. It's right behind your shoulders. Say, hey, I'm here. You better, you know, make the most out of it. Because that 1% seems like nothing until you are the 1%. And that's when everything changed. I was like, shoot, like, am I gonna die being the worst person I could be? I said, nah, like, look, I'm going into this surgery. I accepted that 1%. But I'm gonna make sure that walking into that surgery, the day of the surgery, I have no regrets. That I became the most positive person, that I was the most positive person I could be. You know, loving my parents, you know, saying hi to everybody, being nice to everybody, making sure that I impacted the people I came across with positively. Even the doctors, I noticed a change, you know, and I was in such a peaceful phase. I was so okay. I was so okay with that 1%. I became friends with 1%. I became friends with death. Because when you become friends with death, you realize that it's not a bad thing. Death isn't bad. Death is just like, look, man, right now you have life. I'll let you live. I'll let you do what you can. So make the most out of it. But at one point, and I'm not going to tell you when, I'm going to come and I'm going to take it all away. And not in a mean way. It's just like, hey, your time's up. And And that, that not knowing when your time is up is important, because it forces you to make every single second important. It makes it so you don't take things for granted, because if death comes and you took everything for granted, there's no going back. That's it, And you can't live with regret. You can't live with the thought of, damn, I was with my friends and I was on my phone the whole time, and going home, one of them died, and that's how I spent the last minutes I had with them. You have to be in the present. You can't die and you're like, damn, bro, I was pissed off at everybody. I had so much weight on my shoulders for no reason. You have to let it all go. Like, damn, I died, and this last year I was doing what other people wanted me to do and not what I wanted to do. Or, damn, I could have been chasing my dreams. But that's it. Death said, hey, you're coming with me. That's it. And I can't, once you face that truth, you're like, damn, it's now or never. So we gotta do what we have to do. We gotta chase dreams. We gotta be positive to people. We gotta be the positive impact that we want to be, that we want others to be. Monkey see, monkey do. You're a good person. Other people can be like, damn, I want to be just like him. So that's what we gotta do. And yeah, back to that story. The facing that 1%, facing death. It's like facing death and accepting it brings that peace. Because that peace is what makes us live every moment, that makes us be in the present. Because now when I go out and hang out with my friends, I'm like, who knows? This might be our last chance together. Or, with my parents or with my siblings, I'm like, sure, I can't be pissing them off. I can't be yelling at anybody. I can't be negative. I gotta be positive. That's what you gotta tell yourself. I gotta go outside, see stuff, see animals. There's you stop seeing the negativity. You're like, damn, everything's good. Even though, definition-wise, something might be bad, it just is. You gotta just accept everything and be able to make the most out of it. That's what you gotta do. What else would I want to say about this? Death. You know what? I'm just going to end it right here. I think I've said what I needed to say. I hope you watch this video and realize, damn. I hope you realize what negative habits you have, what negative relationships you have with people, and just make friends with them. Make friends with the people that annoy you, and you'll see that it'll cease to exist, all that, negativity. Be nice to your family, be nice to your friends, be nice to your coworkers, be nice to everybody that you come across with, even if it's strangers. Be friends with death. Accept it. It's gonna happen. That's that. And man, that's all I gotta say. Yo, I hope this video helped you out, man. And you learn a thing or two. But hey, start living right now, man. Peace.